Now, because of the office that I was running for, as a state representative, covers part of Bethel as well.
Correct.
I don't know if you're in communication with Bethel for offices that might go over town borders or anything, or they had, I think, had 5 different ballots for their election
Yes,
last year.
they do.
I can't even imagine what that's like. But are you in communication with them, or is there really not a need to be?
No, there's not a need to be, because that is taken care of at the Secretary of State's office.
Okay.
They're the ones who decide the number of signatures that are needed.
Okay. Since I've been in town for 6+ years at this point, I've found politics very interesting, and have a question to ask you about our current first selectman, not him specifically, but the route that he took to become our first selectman. Again, when I think 2+ years ago, he was a registered Republican. He then switched to unaffiliated and then ran on the Democrat line. Are there certain time periods that have to be met to be able to do that? Could he have stayed registered Republican and run on the Democrat line? I don't know if this is more of a voter registrar type of question, but I don't know if you have any information on that.
Yes, this is more of a registrar of voters question, but I have a very good working relationship with Jeff Dunkerton and Dottie Dory, and I've learned a wealth of information from them, and we work together. So, this is something that we both would be well aware of. In going from Democrat to Republican, Democrat or Republican to unaffiliated, it happens right away. You give up your party's rights to vote at a caucus. If a person goes from one party to another, it's the 3-month waiting period. And if an elector changes from a party to an unaffiliated and decides to go back to his or her party, privileges are lost for 3 months.
Okay.
Now, to answer the second part of your question, yes, anyone could remain we'll use Democrat and Republicans.
Okay.
If the Democrats decided to endorse a Republican, yes, he can maintain his Republican rights. On the voters list, he will be a Republican with all Republican privileges. He will serve as a Democrat because he was elected on a Democratic line.
Okay.
So for reasons of majority representation, he would be considered a Democrat.
Okay. Very interesting. I don't know about, again, having come from Westchester, rules are much different there. I don't know about the other 48 states, but I find it quite interesting here in Connecticut.
Could I go back to the application for an absentee ballot for our referendum?
Certainly.
One point I would like to make, and it's confusing to the electors, when you designate someone to pick up your ballot and return it, or either, they are designating you to pick up the ballot and return it to them. Let them vote and return it to the town clerk's office. They are not designating you to vote for them. They are not can't give permission to vote for you.
Right.
The elector has to vote himself. And it has been an issue, in our ballots. And the reason for absentee ballots, you've got to be out of, you really have to be out of town for all of the voting hours. I know our new Secretary of State would like to would like to let everyone vote absentee. But we'll see, that will actually require a lot of legislation changes. So we'll see what happens.
So are you saying basically then that if a person, let's say, worked in New York City, left early, although the polls open here are 6?
Yes.
So, but there still may be some situations when they leave early and then come back and the polls close at 8, I believe.
Correct, and then you're out of town.
So,
you're not in town between
okay.
the hours of 6
so they
and
could
8.
qualify for an absentee ballot.
Yes, they could.
Do they have to I don't know, show any proof that they actually are in, let's say, New York City for that, or is it, just the honor system?
Honor system.
Okay. And also for a person that you designate to pick up the ballot for you, is that also just the honor system, or do they have to, I don't know, sign some kind of affidavit or have it notarized, or how do you really know that?
As I had mentioned, the people who would be able to do that, it's usually a spouse, and they do have to, when they return the ballot, they have to show identification, and they have to sign the ballot.
Okay.
So
So
as their designee.
If there were any shenanigans going on, I guess that would equate to voter fraud then.
Yeah, but you have.
You have to hope that people are doing the right thing.
And how would you know? That's the sad. There's.
We've discussed a lot. Is there any one thing that you'd like our audience to know about the town clerk's office that maybe you feel they're not aware of? I know we've gone over a lot.
They are. We welcome any questions. We try to serve the town clerk tries to serve everyone. It is my privilege to be serving them. The town clerk is, as we all know, an elected position. We are 24/7. We answer to the electors of the town of Brookfield. I have come back on weekends to do issue birth certificates, do marriage licenses. I was at a family party in Greenwich and came back to do a burial permit, and I'm very happy to do so. It's my privilege to serve our residents.
Kind of like a doctor then, always on call. There was one thing I wanted to just touch on again. I think we might have a little bit, but more about these newspaper notices. I'm trying to think now, did we really go over that in the first show, but in terms of if people don't subscribe to a newspaper for some of these notices, can they find the information on the town website? Or
information is, all agendas for any meetings are filed in the town clerk's office. There is a binder on our counter that is available for everyone. They're always posted on the website. It is not a requirement anymore to post them on the website, but Brookfield does. And that is, notices actually in land use. Notices, agendas are put on the website and in the town clerk's office. They do not have to, as I explained before, that we have to have them notices in the paper for elections and primaries and referendums. But the land use does not. I checked with them this morning, and they're put on the website. They're in the town clerk's office 24 hours before the meeting. The results of the meetings, the approvals, must be published in the newspaper within 15 days. Public hearings have to be advertised twice. First ad is between 10 and 15 days of the hearing. Second ad is at least 2 days before the hearing. Deadline for public hearing to be closed is in 35 days of opening. Motions of meetings must be posted in the town clerk's office within 24 hours. Minutes of the meetings must be posted within a week of the meeting. So there are many different rules to follow, and we do our best to keep all the balls in the air.
I'm not sure how you keep up with it all. I think it's just amazing how much that your office does, and I think I can speak for 95% of Brookfielders that have no idea how much falls under your purview.
Most people think we do dog licenses.
Yeah.
And maybe issue marriage licenses. That top dog contest, that's what does it.
Well, we're going to wrap up our show now. Again, I'd like to thank our guest, Joan Locke, the town clerk of Brookfield, for appearing on the show. And I hope you can see what a resource that we have in Joan Locke, and how fortunate Brookfield is to have her. She's a wealth of information, and frankly, she researched for our show some questions that really don't fall under her purview. So I really want to thank you again for doing that. Again, to the audience, I'd like to remind our viewers that our show is on Charter Channel 21 on Mondays at 4:30 and Thursdays at 7 p.m. We also post segments up on YouTube. You can find them at www.youtube.com/Brookfield Public Advo. And if you want to contact us for comments, suggestions, people, things you'd like to see on the show, please do so at brookfieldpublicadvocate@yahoo.com. And as I say, we'd love to hear from you, so please contact us. And again, thanks for watching, and good night.